The birth of Jacob and Esau. The story of Jacob and Esau begins even before their birth. Isaac, Abraham's son, was married to Rebekah, but she couldn't have children. For many years, Isaac prayed. He asked God to change that situation. The prayer was answered. Rebekah became pregnant. The pregnancy, however, was difficult. The children were fighting inside her womb. The pain was constant. The unease was profound. Confused, Rebekah sought the Lord, and he received a surprising revelation. 2 nations were being formed in her womb, and the older one would serve the younger one. This word completely contradicted the customs of the time. The firstborn always had priority. The time for delivery has arrived. Esau was born first, red-haired furry. Soon after Jacob was born, he was holding his brother's heel. His name carries that meaning. The one who holds the heel, the one who surpasses. From birth, the conflict was already present. The years passed, and the brothers grew up very different from each other. Esau became a skilled hunter, impulsive man from the countryside. Jacob was reserved. He remained among the tents, observer and a strategist. Isaac began to favor Esau. Rebekah had greater affection for Jacob. Favoritism divided the family, and it strengthened the rivalry. One day, Esau returned exhausted from hunting. His body was weak. His mind was dominated by hunger. When he arrived at the tents, he saw Jacob preparing a stew. Driven by immediate need, he asked for something to eat. Jacob saw an opportunity. Instead of helping his brother, he made a proposal: food in exchange for the birthright. Esau did not think, accept it. For him, the present seemed more important than the future. That choice would change everything. The stolen blessing and the encounter in the desert. Time passed. Isaac grew old. His vision was impaired. Feeling that his days were drawing to a close, he made a decision. Blessing the eldest son, Galit, Asa, he asked that a special meal be prepared. Rebekah heard everything, and he acted quickly. She remembered the divine promise, and he devised a plan. Jacob hesitated. It was a friar, but he eventually gave in. He put on his brother's clothes. He covered his arms with furs. He entered into his father's presence. Isaac played. He smelled the clothes, and he was deceived. The blessing was granted. When Esau returned and discovered what had happened, something broke inside him. Hatred took over his heart. The desire for revenge was born. To survive, Jacob had to flee. He left the house. He left his family. He left everything he knew. He crossed the desert alone. He was filled with fear and guilt. One night, he stopped to rest. Homeless, no comfort. He used a stone as a pillow, and he fell asleep. Then, something extraordinary happened. Jacob had a dream. A ladder connected the earth to the sky. Angels were ascending. Angels were descending. At the top was God. He reaffirmed his promises. It guaranteed protection, provision, and a return. When Jacob woke up, he was overcome with fear. He understood that God was there. He erected a memorial. He consecrated that place, and he made a vow. Jacob left as a fugitive, but he continued as one who had been visited by God. Jacob in Haran love, deception, and perseverance after the desert. Jacob arrived in Haran, the land of their relatives. Upon arriving, he found a well. The shepherds were gathered there. Then he saw Rachel, and everything changed. Delighted, Jacob approached. He removed a heavy stone from the well all by himself. He helped Rachel. Love was born in that moment. Jacob revealed his kinship. Rachel ran to tell her father, Laban. Jacob was welcomed, and he expressed his wish. He wanted to marry Rachel. The deal was made. 7 years of work. For Jacob, time passed quickly. Love made the effort light, but at the end of the 7 years, the deception occurred. Laban handed Leah over. No, Raquel. It was only in the morning that Jacob realized the pain was profound. Even so, he stayed. He agreed to work for another 7 years. Now, Jacob was feeling the weight of deception firsthand. The man who deceived his father was deceived himself. But God continued to act. Jacob learned that choices have consequences, because love requires perseverance, and that God shapes character through difficulties. His journey was far from over, but he was no longer the same man. God was preparing something much greater.